In this video, I'm going to show you why it's okay to be excited about new cameras and new tech coming out in our industry, and how you can also have a balanced view as a filmmaker while doing so, which some think is impossible.
That's impossible!
There's a massive chasm in the film, video, whatever you want to call it, community at large, and for the most part, you're typically grouped into one of two sides. The ones who get overly excited about new cameras and gear that will fix my problems with filming, or the ones who bring out the tried and true, it's not about the camera you use, it's about making movies. So it's the typical tech nerd gearheads against the perceived elitist cinematographer types who want everything to stay the same till the end of time. It confuses me to no end why people on either side who claim to be creatives and artists can be so dull. Why can't we see both perspectives and be multidimensional in our approach to filmmaking without needing to dominate others with our opinions on the way things should be or the way we think they should be? We don't all know everything, and this video is not meant to attack either side or cause any war between the two, but to kind of help us realize that we heavily rely on the differences of opinion and varying perspective and skills of others more than we realize. So let's dig into this and see why both sides have very valid points and how maybe we can meet in the middle to be much more balanced.
I'm so awkward.
Tech nerds and gearheads. I think this group in particular gets beat up on a lot, and sometimes it could be for constructive reasons for what they can get wrong, and it can be very valid. And this at times can be the group of people who believe that their main issues with filming will all be fixed by a new piece of gear, a new camera feature, or something spec related that will help make their footage and video better. They in turn rely so much on tech and features that they never actually learn how to film properly, which limits them in the pursuit of making better content. Now, that's not true of everyone in this group, and there are a lot of things they do get right, and they could be the ones that are not afraid to push the status quo. They also could be the first ones to adapt to new technology and new cameras, and from that can make incredible advancements in the film industry. One great example of this is the new virtual sets they use in The Mandalorian that are not only cheaper than using green screen, but also provide better lighting and help cinematographers as they are not just filming performances against a green screen. This gives them more creative flexibility in movies that demand visual effects work. And this would not be possible without that drive to understand every technical aspect of film, understand gear, and want to use technology to help make creating stories more dynamic. Cinematographers that are very much traditionalists can be seen as being elitist and mean to those who are not. Some of this criticism at times is fair towards them, but not in most circumstances, and they do get a lot right. In particular, they are the ones who help to point out that you don't always need to have the latest in technology or processes to achieve the results you're looking for, instead opting for more tried and true methods of practical effects, theory of cinematography, storytelling, and keeping things simple. They believe that a good filmmaker can use almost any camera and make a good story or movie with it, that it's about skill and experience more than it is about the equipment you use, which is a great point to be reminded of for all of us. We many times do focus way too much on the equipment, the tech, the features, the resolution, and just completely forget about building up our fundamentals as filmmakers, and that should be the base of everything we do. Now, you can take this idea way too far and get a lot wrong on it, as some do. And while it's great to have that basis for filmmaking where you build up your skills instead of relying on features, you can also become prudish on this and not see the greater picture. Seeing any new feature such as autofocus as an existential threat to the integrity of film instead of seeing it as an opportunity to help better tell your story you're looking to make and give you some creative freedom. So where does this leave us between these two groups? You can't really have one without the other. When we look at the most renowned filmmakers since a camera was invented, they were all innovative nerds. Think of James Cameron, who had to literally develop new tech to even make Avatar. And for the upcoming sequels, he's using cameras he helped to invent to film the movies. Even Christopher Nolan, the king of film purism, is helping IMAX to develop a more advanced camera for upcoming movies. It's not that he lost his skill in making it and he needs that. It's because new tech makes it easier to achieve the goals and vision you're going for. So be in between both of these groups in your thinking. Take that balanced approach on how you learn and grow as a filmmaker. Ground yourself in the tried and true principles and skills of filmmaking, but also leave room for you to explore the creativity and freedom that new features and new tech can bring to you as a creative. At the end of the day, we're not all built the same. We don't all have the same skill sets, interests, passions, or ways of doing things, and that's totally fine. What we need to realize, though, that there's value in those differences that will help us get to the destination we're trying to reach. Not everyone is looking to make films, but they could be the ones that developed that piece of tech or camera that made it possible to make that film because they're so interested in it. We need to prioritize learning from each other instead instead of constantly inserting our own opinions into this is the way it's done for every encounter we have with each other. Great art never comes from one person's perspective, but being able to step back and see multiple perspectives and ways of thinking that will broaden us as creatives, filmmakers, storytellers, and artists. So get excited about new camera releases in tech. It's a sign that our industry and passion is alive and well. Speaking of new camera releases in tech, have you seen this new release right here? Check it out. I think based on this video, you should be interested in it. Or, it's just a marketing ploy to get you to click on this camera. Who knows?